attach so much happiness and value and identity to the things that we own. And so it's hard when it's literally built into our culture. I'm just hoping that we just forgive student debt in my lifetime. That's my plan. I think my current dilemma is... My name is Jen, and what I have been doing for a living mainly is working film and stage productions, doing like concerts, setting up for concerts and musicals, things like that. So in between those, I have to supplement my income by doing gigs. It's not like an ongoing stream of income. Do you have any debts? The answer is yes. I have about, I think, 60,000 in student loans, and that includes interest that has accrued over time. Do you have a rent or mortgage? I do have rent. I live alone in a 1-bedroom and I pay $9.20 a month on that. How much do you have in your savings account? So I currently, and this is probably the first time in my life, I have like 11,000 in my savings. That's like one of my only sources of income over a matter of months. So it's like I make a chunk of money, and then after that, I kind of have to just make it work. So it is a savings technically, but it's also kind of like what I'm gonna live off of. How much do you have towards retirement? So I literally just like 2 days ago opened a Roth IRA. You invest money in stocks, bonds, index funds, whatever, and then over time it accrues. It would be nice if I could retire in my 50s or as soon as possible. I just started saving at the age of 33. Do I wish I started sooner? Yes, I do wish I started sooner. But at the same time, I've been through periods of my life where I had basically no money. Like when you're broke, it's hard to save. So of course I wish I did, but it just wasn't feasible for a long time. I don't have any other investments at the moment. I invested in Beyond Meat around the time that it first became public, but then I had to cash out pretty quickly afterwards because I was broke. But I made some good money from that. Well, like $700, but that was good money at the time. Right now, I'm not working on a production. I have filed for unemployment and I qualified for, I think I recently calculated it was like $1,660. So that's my monthly income with unemployment. My rent is $920. Groceries, I spend, let's say $200 to $300, depending on what I feel like eating that month or what cravings I have that I can't avoid giving into. Transportation, my minimum payment, like car payment, is $353 a month. So medical, I currently have Medicaid. So right now, I kind of have survivor's guilt about that, but thank you, Medicaid. Clothing, I don't have like a monthly amount that I generally spend, but I do end up buying things as needed. So I'll just say 0. I don't have a monthly clothing budget. Subscriptions, I love movies and TV. My family and I kind of take turns spending money on subscriptions. Right now I have HBO, which is I think $16 a month. I do have some podcasts, some app subscriptions that are like a few dollars a month. So let's just say per month, maybe like $30 on subscriptions. For my student loans, I'm currently in deferment, even though it's probably better for me to start making payments on it. I don't spend anything because I feel like it's futile. I'm just hoping that we just forgive student debt in my lifetime. That's my plan. Insurance. So my car insurance, I did a lump sum for 6 months. And then I do have renter's insurance, which is $15.75 a month, which I don't spend ahead of time. So I'll just say $15.75 for renter's insurance. Investments, I aim to put $100 a month towards that. Discretionary, I don't really have a set aside discretionary income. I just kind of feel it out. But honestly, I try to keep it as low as possible. I'm living really frugal these days. Let's say 100. I feel very lucky to be in a stable place right now, but also it's hard because I am so scared of spending any money because I was out of work for so long, for 8 or 9 months. Even though I do have a little bit of a cushion now, or I do have some time off, it's like I'm just afraid of doing anything. Like I would love to travel, but I'm afraid of what if I need that money? I'd love to get massages or whatever, like fun stuff that you'd imagine you'd be able to do if you had money and savings, but I'm just too scared. Do you have a budget? Kind of. I don't have it written down. I don't have a calculation. I feel like I do it based on intuition. Every now and then I'll sit down and I'll be like, okay, so what are my expenses? And I'll be like, rent, this, that. And I'm like, okay, so how much do I need to make a month to cover those? And then I basically just kind of remember that number as I go about my business. When my parents got divorced, I mostly live with my mom, and she always struggled with money. So I feel like I really internalized that. The threat of loss of, a place to live or no food to eat, I kind of just remember that and just think like, I really don't want that. So, maybe this lip gloss can wait. Or maybe I don't need that. What is the hardest part about managing your finances? I think my current dilemma is because my work is not predictable and therefore my paycheck is not dependable. I don't make a salary that I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to make this much every month. It's more like, oh, well, I may or may not work on this production, and I may or may not work for the entirety of it, for a week of it, for a few days. So whenever I make money, it's hard to plan anything or know like what's safe to spend, what should I put away. I kind of just have to set it aside and just be like, all right, well, now I'm going to do whatever I can to make this last as long as possible. How do you define rich? Rich is like when you don't have to think about money when making decisions, big and small. Like you don't have to factor money into your decisions. You don't have a money part of your brain. It's just, it's atrophied. You're just like, I can just do whatever and money isn't real. What was your best money decision? I think my best money decision has been to not spend it like at all. And also I opened like different bank accounts as well. So I have money in like one bank account that I use for one thing, and it's just for that. Spreading out my money so it's in different places has been helpful for me. I mentally know that that money is allotted for this thing, but now it's like it is tangibly separate from where I spend my money. So I think that that's helpful for me as well. What was your worst money decision? Last year before the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild struck, I had worked and like I was making good money, doing film work, but also spending it as if it would continue to be coming in the same way it was. I think that was not a good money decision for me to not really think ahead, and be like, hey, like, I don't know when the next production's coming, and just to be aware of that and put money aside. What is the best piece of financial advice you can give? The things that you think will bring you happiness in the way of items won't actually do that. You'll be happy for like a day and then you're gonna go back to your life. So just remember that. I think that helps a lot. Our entire society is literally built around buy, keep buying, keep buying, keep buying. It's almost like an imperative that you keep doing it, and we attach so much happiness and value and identity to the things that we own, and so it's hard when it's literally built into our culture.